to create a platform about empowering the Black female voices, which are often silenced and ignored. So as 4 strong businesswomen, we wanted to celebrate all the hard work that Black women put out every single day.
The number of businesses owned by women of color have increased by 58% between 2007 and 2018. Black women are the largest female minority group of business owners. We want to educate and inspire Black women to excel in their businesses and also enrich their families and communities.
In a world that is constantly trying to divide and create competition and tension, we understand more than ever the need to uplift one another and have our voices be heard. There's an endless stream of toxic messages all over the internet that belittle, objectify, and dehumanize Black women. We will address those uncomfortable topics head on, as well as other messages that plague our community.
We're here to educate and uplift and have fun while doing it. We're 4 very different women with different opinions, backgrounds, and viewpoints. But at the end of the day, we wanted to create a safe place for us and you to have your thoughts and different opinions. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get down to the business.
I'm talking queen business, baby. Queen biz. I'm talking queen business. Queen biz. I'm talking queen business, baby.
Girl.
Queen biz.
Oh, well, that was a great intro. Most people know me from KarenCivil.com, entrepreneur, philanthropist, but global content creator.
My name is Nyamka Robert-Smith. I am an esthetician. I'm a business owner. I'm a YouTuber, skincare influencer. I have had a studio in Beverly Hills for the last few years. I educate people about skincare, particularly women of color, people of color on my social media channels. And I do virtual consultations. I used to travel and doing skincare.
Hi, I'm Amber Diamond. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and I've been in the industry since I was 17 years old. And you might know me from a couple of reality TV shows and a couple of TV shows on MTV, VH1, and a couple other networks. And I am my business. My brand is my business. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Danielle, and I know Amber because Amber's worked on TV shows and things with me. I own a casting company. It's been fun. It's something I've been doing for, professionally 8 years. Been doing it for about 15, 16. Yeah.
You're your business, too.
Yeah. But you're my business, too. Cool. It's fine.
Queen business.
Exactly.
All right, ladies, let's get into Queen's business.
Yeah,
See, the reason why we created the show is the importance of Black women having their voices heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Black women never have their voices heard, and it's been going on since the early 1900s. Well, actually since slavery, but we ain't gonna go there. But since the 1900s, even when women were able to vote, Black women still weren't really able to vote. So we can start there. You know what I'm saying? It's always been trying to silence our voice for years.
I think I was really excited about the podcast because I know all of you separately, and even sitting down with each of you, like, it's just very different. Starting with you, Karen, I didn't know you. I just knew all the great things you did. And as a Black woman, like, people are afraid to just be like, hey, I want to know you. Mm-hmm. But I took my time to be like, I want to know you. I think you're great. And I don't think we have a place where people are able to do that. Our egos and our prides have always, like, made us be separate. And each of you, I let you know, like, you're beautiful Black queens. I want to know you. And I don't know. I think that I'm really happy about it because hopefully we'll spread that with other Black women, other places, to where they understand that, hey, if I see something in her that I want to learn from, I can go tell her I want to know you without feeling, bad about it. I hope this gives people that space to feel that way.
And the great thing too is we all come from different walks of life, and we all have different POV to things. So it's like nothing's wrong, nothing's right per se, but at least we can educate each other, bring in new knowledge, and just help each other in certain aspects. So that's the great thing about this.
Right. We're helping others, and we're also helping ourselves, because Lord knows.
And each
and
other.
having girl talk and conversation.
Right.
Without it being so, like, messy and negative,
It's going to get
learning
messy.
from each other. I mean, that's a part of life, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you had mentioned how, like, there are other spaces that have a lot of diverse women, but not spaces that have a lot of that have all Black women, but, like, diverse Black women, where we all come from different perspectives and we all have our different ideas and values on things, but at the end of the day, like, we're still all Black women. And I think it's going to be really great to just hear how different Black women can be.
Yeah. And the funniest thing is we're all very different, but there's some things that we have in common, which is, you know what I mean? Though we're different. And I think that's what makes it beautiful.
This is a question I always think about is like when I meet different women is how do you find your voice?
That's a really good question. I lost mine for a while. I'm going to be honest. I
Well, how
silenced
you get it
myself
back?
for a while.
And why did you silence yourself?
I wanted to be liked. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to fit in. You know what I mean? And I dummied myself down and got silent so that I could be accepted. And, you know, that's a part of life. And I think that most people won't admit it, but that's genuinely a part of life. And I think that as a Black woman, once I started to realize, I was looking at like people around me and everything I'm hearing them say and this strong thing and calling me a queen. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not even doing them justice because I don't look at myself as a queen. Yeah. I don't love myself enough that I want to be silent. I'd rather be accepted than to be right. Or I'd rather be accepted than to fit in. So I think you find that voice again once you actually find yourself and realize that I can't have this word queen above me when I'm acting like I'm not.
But that's something else to even think about. You saying that like life teaches you to be good, want Black women to be good and not great. And it's like the fact that you found yourself shrinking and you're like, what am I doing? I don't even want to shrink. And it's going back to finding your greatness, your happy place in certain things. I think honestly, I know COVID hasn't been the best for a lot of people, but for me personally, this reset was needed because it helped me. I feel like I'm at the same place with you. It's just like you have a voice, but sometimes you're taking in the voices of other people's opinions and certain things, and then it starts to dilute what you think. So maybe me having to sit home and not see certain people and not be around certain spaces and energy helped me hone and tap into like refinding my voice and like just my beliefs and what I think is important.
Yeah, I like that you said that too, though, because I honestly, even when I was speaking about you, I thought about that. Like when you think about being strong and being a Black woman, right, and having to take on all the things. Like I don't think sometimes we even realize how much is on our shoulders and our back.
Oh no, we realize. The world doesn't realize. We realize what we deal with because then you can kind of see it in our demeanor where people be like, why you have an attitude, why you're not smiling. Life doesn't give me the option to smile right now. Like we're dying in our beds when we go to sleep. Like we can't go for runs. We can't do certain things. And it's like you want me to be happy in a place that is not set for me to be happy.
Yeah. And then you're labeled the angry Black woman.
It's hard. It's hard to have a voice, you know, because people are going to have opinions about your voice. People are going to be upset about it. People are going to tell you don't belong in certain spaces. People are going to tell you that you're not, you know, like all the things that come with that, you know? So it's easy to shrink. It's easier to shrink. And when life around you is already hard and difficult, sometimes you're just like, I'm just going to shut up because I don't want this drama here because I already have to deal with it at home.
And that's what I meant when I said I would shrink myself. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like I would rather just be in the moment than have an opinion. Yeah. Like I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, and I can understand that. Like I definitely sympathize with that. Like that shit is whack.
Yeah, I'm like with this generation, with the cancel culture and everything, everyone has an opinion on everything. So it's like you want to walk on your tippy toes. You don't even want to say certain stuff.
Listen, I can get canceled for the wrong eyelash on Tuesday. Okay, it's like you didn't wear number 7, you canceled.
Right,
baby.
But it's
cancel
still,
like
you know?
they cancel me like every quarter. But it comes to a point. But it comes to a point. I tell people it's just like I'm not gonna allow as much as social media is a big part of my business. I'm not going to allow the opinions of others, and that's real life and social media life too, to dictate where you're going because it can get so loud. It can get those opinions can get really, really loud.
Yeah, I read all the comments.
And see, down to the, and see, you guys talking about that.
You're honest with it.
And that's what I was going to say. I'm going to be very transparent here. Like, down to the point of when I said I would shrink myself. Think about it. We can go on my phone right now. Do you know how many people are waiting me to accept or decline? I could have probably close to fucking 80,000 followers on Instagram. I don't want to hear anything negative. My page is private because I don't want to wake up and be having a great day because I'm affected by it.
Yeah.
And you get what I'm saying? I don't want to hear You know, how long have I heard you have a big nose? I have my mother's nose. I mean, I've battled
Beautiful
it because
nose, girl.
Go Queen. Yes. Yes. But my point is, you get what I'm saying? So it's still one of those things where as me as being a strong, because I think I'm strong. I live my life every day in helping, but it's still that insecurity. Do you get it for this world? How you said like they cancel you every quarter. Like, okay, cool. Listen,
Man.
I would, come on, Karen.
Black women we're born strong. I mean, we come out the cooch with muscles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't have anything to say to those people. Like that, if you don't like me, that has nothing to do with me. That's not my problem. It's not my business.
So, a prime example, after this airs, I'm not going on any blog to read what they said about me. I already know the things they're going to say. My nose is big. I don't have time for those negative things in my brain, and that's why I'm not trying to be funny. My page is staying private. Okay, anything negative, you better put it on a blog somewhere because I'm not reading it.
Public.
Mine
Give me
too.
all the followers. I'm staying public.
any
and you will get
publicity is
blocked.
good publicity.
Okay, so if I open,
get
can you guys
My block
promise
list
me
is
one
long.
thing?
Yes.
If I open my page, you better come to my defense in every comment. I need to see
But
Karen,
that's the thing.
Naika, and Amber.
That's the thing. That should be the last thing that you should worry about. Like,
I'm
like, no matter
sensitive,
what,
Amber.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, for me,
I'm
not gonna
sensitive
lie.
too.
I'm not
I'm
gonna lie. I
sensitive
do
too.
worry about that stuff, but I filter my comments so that nobody can say certain stuff. But I'm
Exactly.
really good
Instagram?
with the
What
blocking.
does that mean?
can-
filter?
You
I
can
don't know how to
filter.
do
You
that.
can't come on my page using the B word,
Right,
the M word,
same.
the
They're
F
not gonna
word.
hold
There's
none of
certain
that.
things like I know they'll
Okay.
probably try to say, or if you feel as though people are gonna pick apart about you, you can put that in.
Well, I'm fine with the nose thing now. I'm comfortable with it
Yeah.
because I see my friends go get the little fillers in their nose and they want a big one now. I'm like, girl, okay, I've been here. It's
Especially
fine.
our aesthetics is what's selling right now. Everybody gets everything about you, from your nose to your hair to the nails to the way we rock our jewelry to how we dress. It's
Bodies.
just body.
There's
everything.
literally a
And
trend right
everything-
now.
Skin tone,
It's-
like, come on.
It's not even a trend. It's
So
a
wait, I have a
lifestyle.
lifestyle
It's
that
a
everyone wants.
So
it's
wait,
never going away. It's
I
a
have
lifestyle
a
for
question,
other races.
A real question, though. So you guys mean to tell me you've never seen something that somebody posted on your page that was so hurtful and negative?
No, people
that
are
like
really
you
mean.
literally wanted to lose it?
No, all the time.
Oh, yes.
I
was on Love
internalize it
and
all the
Hip Hop.
time. Like I have a pretty big platform on Twitter and on YouTube. Instagram is fairly big, but Instagram isn't as mean to me, thankfully. But I think, especially like on Twitter, familiarity breeds contempt, and people just grow to not like you, and people will say really mean things. YouTube, I think YouTube is honestly the meanest of all the platforms.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
personally.
they're just like super racist there.
Yeah,
and
on
it's just
YouTube?
like in the comments, they're just really weird. And it's like, why
No,
are you doing this
people-
from your mom's
people will say
basement? Like, what is this
something-
about?
And it could be someone with 3 followers made their account this morning, and I'll read it and I'll still be upset. I know it's not important. I can say all the things. Oh, they're broke. They have nothing going from them. They're probably ugly. Like, I could say whatever, but it still hurts my feelings because
Right.
I'm like you because I like to be liked.
Yeah,
And I think
do.
and I think that I don't work to be liked, but I like to be liked, and I think that I try and like put out positivity into the world. I try and help people. I try and be a good person. I try and be thoughtful. I try to be empathetic and understanding and da 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 da.
I'm with
And
ya.
then people are still gonna be mean to you. So
Right.
like I'm working on trying to be like, you know what? It doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna lie. I literally had to rebrand myself because I did Love and Hip Hop, and before that I did another reality show on Oxygen. It was called Fix My Mom, and so after that I kind of had to rebrand myself from being that black girl on TV fighting, looking crazy, and I had to rebrand myself into looking like another person, like myself, and letting people know I'm me, I'm fun, I'm nice, I do this, I do that. And so now I just be me, and that's it. And I try my best to be me and be nice to everybody and show me. And I won't even post nothing that is like controversial on my page anymore. Like if I do post something that's controversial or whatever, I'll turn the comments off because I don't have time for nobody to say anything.
And how you just said like you basically started over to be you. It's really funny because it was almost a year ago, and Karen knew she was here for a meeting, right? And she knew something. It was really weird. And when I walked her to her car and we were talking, and she looked at me. Nothing. This was to me the staple of like when another amazing queen just felt you and had something to say. And she looked at me, and I'll never forget this day. And she said, I found out so much that you've done behind the scenes. She's like, why don't you talk about it? Like, why isn't it? And I was just like, I I just want to, she's like, no. She's like, I'm glad that I'm getting to know you. She's like, and you're amazing. She's like, for myself, I was shocked. I would have never known you've done all those things. She's like, but I'm proud of you. So to see another Black woman that I look at, you know, before I knew her, to be like, wow, she's doing dope, amazing things. And to be able to say that to me, it kind of gave me life again. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the part of me that I had dummied down for everyone else, a Black queen gave it back to me.
Yeah. Because I feel like when it comes to especially women of color, it gets to a point where when we do great things, we have to, like, goes back to that word, I hate using it right now, but we have to shrink our success in certain things because it comes off like we're being braggadocious. It's like, humble. No, like, literally look up the word humble, and it's just like, that's fine to be humble, to be gracious and everything else, but why can't you speak your greatness like your male counterparts or other people do? And for them it's like, oh my gosh, they're passionate, they're XYZ, but when a woman does, like, oh, she's bragging, she's full of herself, oh, she's conceited. No, I'm just great. And it's like, I know these things, the world knows these things, my God knows these things, and you know what, now you know these things, and I shouldn't have to apologize. And that's one thing too. It's like, I shouldn't have to apologize for my greatness
at all.
And another thing I think people do is, like, they'll almost, like, pimp out their pain, you know, because they'll be like, if you see someone's great, you know, they'll be like, okay, well, I mean, I was homeless 2 years ago. Right. You know, like, I'm great, but like I'm not.
I call it the well, actually.
Great, you know, exactly.
Now, Imka, don't judge me if you see that on my Instagram. Don't pimp out your pain.
But, like,
stop pimping out your pain.
It's not for anybody else. You know, like,
even though you're doing well in the beauty space, like, oh, woe is me. Well, I would be doing great too, but you know, I lost all my products in the big CVS fire. And you're like, girl,
it's okay.
That's another thing. A lot of people always try to compare success. Everyone loves to compare success. And it's like, there's no age limit on anything. But, you know, I feel like
there's no age limit. I'd like to tell people now, there's no blueprint for very long. If you grow up in a West Indian home, a lot of people can attest to this. They have a blueprint for your life before you're even born and telling you how you're supposed to live. So for me, like, I don't even have a relationship with everyone in my family. I'm talking like my dad and my brother and certain things, is because they had my life set up. When you have brothers who are structured, married, have the 4 kids, the picket fence, the dog, and they're like, okay, I want this for my daughter. And what I try to explain to, like, my parents is, the success my brother has in his life is not going to be the same for me as a woman. He decided he was ready to fall in love. That woman said yes. I'm ready to fall in love. A man's not going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, let me meet you down the aisle. And when he comes home from a 12-hour shift, they go into their man cave and play video games. You think I'm going to be able to come home and just sit down and watch, like, regular Real House of Potomac or whatever the case may be? He's gonna be like, girl, come get your child.
I mean, you can if you build it that way.
You saying that?
That's true.
And
but
it's
like, but
it's hard.
Is a difference.
Yeah.
It's a difference between women and men, especially with success and careers and certain things. And I kind of wish my family would have saw that and had an understanding, but I'm happy I did my life during the blueprint I saw for myself and not what everybody else saw for me.
Does your family consider you successful now? Like, do they see it? Do they understand it? Or
my mom does. My dad, I still don't have a relationship with, and that for me is from sanity reasons, and that's a choice because they wanted high school, college, and after college, you know, you all of a sudden have this 6-figure job, then you get married, you have 3 kids, the dog, the everything by 25. I mean, realistically, we know that's not the truth. So I'm content with the way that I did it because now it's like I'm back in school. I'm doing it my way. When the family comes, it comes, and certain things. And it's just like, that's really what's important, is following your blueprint and not necessarily what people the boxes they try to put you in and the way they, you know, set it up for you.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, like when I'm trying to do something new or something different, I'm always looking for my mom's approval. I'm always like, okay, what if my mom, is she gonna be mad at me for doing this? Is she gonna be mad at me for doing that? You know, I love my mom to death. That's my best friend. But I just try to let her know I'm grown now. You know what I'm saying? I'm 26. I'm trying to make my own decisions, make my own mistakes. Yeah. And that's something that she's not having. She don't want me to make my own mistakes. She don't want me to date this dude, this dude, this dude. No, don't date him. He ain't good. Let me figure that out by myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown. And I'm learning still, to this day, still learning. And I also went back to school. I'm in school now. And I did it because my mom told me to. And now I'm at that point where I'm not even sure if that's something that I want to do because I'm going for nursing. And I'm like, is that something that I really want to do? I wanted to try something different because my mom told me to. But now that my mom told me to do that, is that something that I really want to do? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
When people tell me that, tell them like you're living two lives. Honestly, like you're living two lives and not necessarily the one that you see for yourself because you're living the life of expectations of other people. And then you're putting your real life second.
I see that.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. Like I dropped out of college and I decided to like go into nails or beauty or be an esthetician or whatever. My family is also West Indian. We're Jamaican.
Beautiful.
That's not cool. My dad's an engineer. Yeah. My brother's an accountant. He's got 2 master's degrees and I dropped out of college. So I had to, luckily my family is very supportive, which, I mean, not to talk down West Indian families, but that, like, especially if your family is like an immigrant family, like they did a lot to give you a lot of opportunities, and for you to look like you're squandering them is disrespectful to them. So thankfully, my family isn't that way. They've always supported me. But it's like, even my friends were like, when I left school, they were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's not for me. Like, I'm smart, I'm brilliant, I can do all these things, but sitting in this classroom learning this stuff that I don't really care about, and these student loans are piling up, like, this isn't my path, So it's really, it's definitely a task to be able to follow your own dreams, especially when everybody else is telling you that it's not the right thing to do. And I think for women, for Black women especially, like being Black and being a woman, we're trying to, be an example for our race. We're trying to be an example for our gender. Like we have a lot of pressure on us.
Though.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. Yeah. Because if you mess up somewhere,
I hate that though.
Now you're a statistic. Now
the thing is,
like,
with that comes perfection, and to me, perfection doesn't exist.
It's not real. Yeah.
So it's like we should live a life of excellence and not strive for perfection. And it's like when people are like, oh, you're canceling out your race, you're doing. I'm like, whoa. It's like a million of us.
What do you mean canceling out?
Or like,
what do you mean
like,
canceling out your race?
Not necessarily canceling out, but similar to what you just said, embarrassing. Like, for instance, on. Yep, I watched Real Housewives of Potomac. There was a fight on there, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, you're canceling us out. And they're like super mad. It wasn't even a real fight. It was like a cat fight. I've watched Beverly Hills, OC, Housewives Atlanta. Like they've had cat fights before. And it's like, why does it get to a point where now it's just like, oh, you're embarrassing us to our race and to who we are as women and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, I hear you. There should be some sort of decorum. But at the same time, it's like, it was a cat fight. It was something small. It's like we're allowed to make mistakes, and that pressure.
Oh, you're saying from that fight, now people are making it a race thing, like a Black women thing.
Yeah, it's just like you should never did that. It should have never been this. Like you're setting us back as Black women.
Some of the best fights I've seen are Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like,
exactly, it's like they fight and they
like,
go on,
and they wake up and it's over.
It turns into like a 4 or 5 episode special. And it's like, can we move on from this?
Maybe right now, probably for us, just as Black men. Maybe it's because of what's going on in the world right now. Everyone wants us to just walk a straight line as
no, but that
Black
falls
women.
in line of perfection, and it's like we're not perfect people, and that's not fair to us. It's like, why can't we just exist and be?
Right.
Why does it go from like we get ignored to now we got to be perfect?
Yeah, there's a
no,
spotlight.
There's a grace.
The one. Like,
there's grace for our male counterparts and for white people. They can be mediocre as fuck.
Why can't we?
Yeah, I don't want to be mediocre. I just want to exist and live.
Right. Like, without having to be looked at as
or judged.
Yeah, feel like, oh my God, you're setting all Haitian people back, or you're setting all women back. It's like, bro, relax.
Right.
See, that's the one thing I was listening to all of you. That is the one thing I have to, my disclaimer, I'm lucky by. If I woke up tomorrow and sold fruit with tahini, my mom and dad would think I'm great. Like they think, I can honestly say I have my issues with family as anyone else. You know, I have tons of sisters and brothers, and you know, one of my sisters, like, we did not speak for 4 years. It it got real, and we're two women in the same entertainment world. And you know, so it's like, even though I don't know what it feels like to have to remove yourself from a dad or a mom, I know what it's like to sometimes be in the same room with your blood and, you know, don't even speak and you walk by. But again, I think it goes to before of what we were talking about as Black women. Instead of me shrinking myself down and being weak, I did that thing that I should have done, how I did with you and anyone else. Like, hey, I love you. We're family. Let's figure it out. We're better together than apart.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're stronger as one than not. But again, I did have that pride thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everyone wants to be right. And especially when it's two strong Black women, it's like, I'm right. At the end of the day, what's right is being strong and making it better because you're stronger together than apart. I feel like us as women, though, each of us as being Black women that do something different, like, we ultimately do have a responsibility. Like, for me, let's just use me in casting. My responsibility is, because of relationships I have, because of knowing Karen, or because I might know this director or this person, I'm going to get, you know, invited into rooms, and I'm going to cast things that other Black women won't get allowed. Let's just keep it real, though. It's because of my relationships. So my responsibility is to make sure as many Black women as I can, you know, get through that door, or men, or anyone. And I think that just me as casting, one thing I want to leave in behind, if we all, like I said, have our own job, I have a responsibility to help my people get further, or the next young Black woman that's like me. People talk about casting, I hear them say Robbie Reed, and then that's it. I don't hear any other Black woman casting. I've never heard it. All these years, that was my goal, to be just like her. Why didn't I have 20 other Black women that I could have wanted to be like as well? There's one.
Yeah.
Hopefully I feel like my responsibility is to open this door to where that girl that's somewhere 16 that wants to be a casting person or a director, I can help her get there, period.
I feel like a lot of times, although you do have the platform, you don't get the chance to actually be who you want to be. Like, going back to Love and Hip Hop, I hate the show, no offense to anybody out there. They didn't let me be myself. They didn't.
Which one were you on?
Hollywood. It was me and my mom. My mom was my manager. And
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Drama.
Okay. Which one were you on?
Yeah, it was bad. And so I don't know. I just feel like with shows like that, they make it for you to where you're not able to speak about anything else. They write everything for you, your lines and everything. They set you up in different situations that you probably would never even be in real life, but they do it just for TV. And unfortunately, it's Black people who are making it for the Black women on that show bad, because none of the Black women on the shows really look good. Some of them, you might see them and you might be like, oh, they look great, this and that, but they set everything up to make them look bad. And we didn't get a chance on that platform. My mom, on the reunion, she wrote a book. She asked them before she came on stage, because she come and tell everybody about the book. They didn't even let her bring the book on set. They wouldn't even let her bring the book on set. My mom is not a person who says no, you're not finna.
Can I be fair? In situations like that, you kind of got to know what you're dealing with. In that particular setting, you know the type of content that they're creating for television. So as much as her book was probably something positive, something great and uplifting, unfortunately in that setting, that's not what they want to talk about. They want to talk about the issues you had prior, what happened, XYZ.
Or the issues it made up for you.
Yeah, or the issues, quote unquote, they make up for you. And that's unfortunate, but what's great about like this podcast and other things that I've really been happy about is seeing representation. You know, we are 4 Black women who are loving our skin, loving who we are as individuals, and that's what matters to me. So when girls see this, it's like, oh, okay, it's cool. It's 4 Black women. Right. There are times we're not going to be perfect. We're going to argue. We're going to have our moments, but we'll know how to bring it in and understand like our platform and what we're pushing out.
I think when it comes to responsibility as like who you are, I think that's a choice. I don't think anyone is inherently responsible to represent whatever they feel they have to represent because of their identity. I think, I really think that people should be able to be as mediocre as they want to be, as whatever as they want to be. It's your life. But if you choose to be a role model. If you want to walk that role as a role model, then I guess certain things come with that.
But sometimes you don't even want to do that. You just become that. I get DMs all the time. You're my role model. And how do I get on this show? And how do I do that? And I'm just like, well, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I love to empower Black women. That's like my number one thing. But you know, it gets hard. Even if you're not even trying to be the role model, they still put you up there to be a role model.
But you existing, that's how I've just been internalizing it when people reach out, because on times where I'm not feeling like up to par or my best, if I get the note or whatever else, I'm like, the fact that I'm existing, I got up today, given what you was going through, you still got here,
Right.
super bright shine, smiling, happy. And it's just like, that right there is giving people hope. That right there will help. Just you, the fact that you're just doing your everyday, you're out living life on your terms and doing it your way, going back to what you were saying, it gets very scary to live life on your terms, on how you see it.
Right.
Yeah. Prime, how you said, like, the day that you had, you know, you got up, you came. I can honestly say, I mean, Karen, hey, I hit you. Like, what time is it? It's like 7:30 this morning.
Yeah.
I looked forward to seeing 3 amazing women that I knew could uplift me and make me feel better. It's one of those things where, like, as a Black woman, sometimes I think people don't understand that we could be going through the worst shit in our life, but we still have to show up. Yeah. And we have to deliver, and we have to be present.
No excuses. No one cares.
None. No one cares.
Yeah.
Because if we do something wrong, then it's, oh, okay, I knew she was going to be late. I knew she was going to be.
I'm starting
do you know
to
what I
take
mean?
PTOs. I mean, God took PTOs this year. I'm starting to take PTOs of just like, where
I
we
got
have to
it
be
today,
perfect and not show up. It's like, no. I tell people now, like, I got a therapist and she's like, let me teach you ways to say no.
I know this is about business.
So
I
bad.
just
need a
started
therapist.
therapy
wanna
too.
start therapy.
I just started like 2 months ago.
Listen,
can I
I got
tell
a
you
Black therapist.
my
She's
favorite
so,
bitch. I
need
she's
her.
so
Here's
a girl?
good. Yes.
I need her.
She's so good.
I need
And I be
her.
texting her. I be like, girl, ... and she hits me right back.
I love that.
I treat her like the girlfriend. I'm like, they playing in my face.
Girl.
She be like, let me call you.
Wait, hold on. She said, girl. ...
Right. I love that. 'Cause Charlamagne,
That's a
he's
bad
trying to-
signal though. It's like, what happened? Are you okay?
Yeah.
We all know it. As soon as you
And-
get that girl ...
But this is when I realized, I'm going to be honest. You know how I know I need a therapist? Every single day of my life, you've seen it on sets. People come to me. You've talked to me. I give the best advice. The other day I realized my cup is fucking empty. I give so much. I need someone that I can call and be like, listen, I'm about to jump
you,
off
sis.
this
Let me get
balcony
your
real
cup.
quick. Yeah,
Yeah, I just feel
cup
like
down there.
thank you. Can you pass this to that
we
queen
should
down there,
definitely
please?
Let me fill this cup.
we
back
should
up.
definitely
Thank you, 'cause my
normalize
cup is
therapy
empty,
in the Black
Karen.
communities. I feel like in the Black communities, therapy is not normalized. A lot of people look at therapy as a weakness.
I need it.
And then same. I'm
I
just
need it.
like, after all the oppression and stuff we done been through, we deserve to have
You know,
therapy.
For a very long time, it was just like, suck it up.
Right.
You know the words like, I give you something to cry about and everything else. And I feel like you said, like the last few years, it's now become, it's not a race thing. Because it's like we dealt with what we had, like violence, diabetes, and maybe like heart attacks was like the Black thing or
Right.
like the Black disease.
Yeah.
Therapy or just a chemical imbalance, depression. I remember I had that very young, and my dad was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, sir, you have a chemical imbalance. Not to
Right.
be telling his business, but I am. But I'm like, you have a whole chemical imbalance. You don't think this was maybe passed down or something I
Right,
need to deal with? It's like, oh, no, you'll be fine. I'm like, what?
But what
And
does
see-
fine
That's not how it
mean?
works.
Like, I'll be
Fine is-
alright. I'll be alive.
Fine is
maybe. like
You suppress it. You don't deal with it. But then that continues
And you
like
just push-
generational
yeah.
trauma.
But see,
Right,
exactly what you just said, right? So, I mean, it's for another time, but let's just say
no, now's the time.
during
Say
my
it.
childhood, a situation, something happened with me, right? And it was hard. I didn't say anything at first. And then when I told my mother, I looked at her and I realized she was really sad because I think in that moment she felt like she did something wrong. Like it happened to me because she did something wrong, right?
Yeah.
And now that as I got older, when I have conversations with my mom, it's what you just said. It's a generational thing. You get it? Like our parents were not allowed to, the way that they grew up back in the day, it was more of just like,
They were just trying
be
to survive.
silent. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
be
know, you
silent,
don't have
survive,
emotions.
be
You
strong,
don't show your
and just
feelings.
just go.
So that's why when they started, I feel like having us as their children, they either did one or two things. They raised us hard, very from what they knew of like no emotions. What are you sad about? You're going to be fine. Or they overly loved on us. which also fucks us up. Like, I'm going to be honest, like, because of my situation, my mom, I think, overly fucked me up. I know that sounds crazy, but she overly fucked me up. She loved on me too much. She made me believe that this world is perfect. She didn't get me ready for reality, if that makes any sense, because of her own shit and what she had been through. You get it?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like as Black people, it's kind of, you grow up in one of the two ways. You grow up hardened, no emotions, or you grow up pacified.
Yeah, not to compare me and my little sister's lives, but like growing up, my mama didn't really teach me about tax and this and that and stuff that I need as an adult and my credit and all that. My little sister, she's 18 years old and has a 750 credit score because my mom opened up the credit cards for her and paid everything off and got her right, got her all good and stuff. She didn't do that for me. So now I'm 26 and I'm still trying to figure everything out. Like, okay, I can get my car on this and I can do this with this car and da-da-da. Like, now I know that stuff growing up. And so my mom, when we're talking, sometimes she gets upset with me. You should have known that. That's something you should have known.
How should I have known if it wasn't taught to me?
I didn't learn that in school either. Like, come on now. You don't learn that in school.
I feel like us as Black women, though, we teach ourselves a lot. Yeah. We have no choice. But
but it should be. I hate that it's just like that feeling of no choice when it should be a choice. I've been listening to Big Sean's album, which is incredible, by the way. And his song with Nipsey, he talks about how in school, which made me realize, they teach us all this stuff that's not important.
That's deep
instead of
revenants,
like
right?
our health and wellness. Like what you said, speaking on taxes and things we can actually use in the real world. Because baby, when I have my child, I'm teaching them the truth.
Period.
You're not gonna be taking in this Disney fantasy BS like my mom taught me. Because here I am, like, yo, when is Prince Charming coming?
Right.
By like 24, I'm like,
what's
wait,
the kiss? In the movie, it said one.
Yeah, I'm like, you didn't tell me it was about to be 15 of them.
It was one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you can teach your kid whatever. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for Aconville to be done. I'm taking my kid to Africa. I'm not. Listen, I'm over this.
Yeah, I mean, that right there is to be determined.
Hey, watch it. Watch it, okay? That is an African king there. Hold on.
Okay.
So I feel like queen, the word queen or the title queen has become like a trending thing. Like all of a sudden now everyone's like, hi queen and this queen to all the Black women. And it's cool. It's amazing. But I just feel like it brings us again to have to be on another pedestal,
standard,
have to be high up there. And
I don't know. I think differently. I feel like when you go back to history and when I think of queen, I think of that beautiful Black woman in Africa just being a queen. I think of where we started. I think that the word, now that it's a trending topic, that's cool because we had forgotten that that's what we are. I just told you, I got lost. When I remembered that I am a queen, it put fire in my ass and it woke me back up. I think, I mean, I don't think everyone's a queen, but I think that, I mean, let's just keep it real. I don't think everyone's a queen, but I understand the meaning of the word. When I look at you three, I look at you three as queens, and not because, you know, as much as, like you said, people can throw the word bitch around every day, all day, and women can be bitches. To me, I think the highest form of respect is I'm not just sitting here with three ladies. In my mind, I'm sitting here with three queens. So it's different. I can sit with ladies or I can sit with queens. And I'm sitting with three queens right now.
right, but like you said, not everyone's a queen. Not to say that not everyone's a queen. You're a queen in your own way.
Yeah.
But literally, they expect everyone to be.
I
feel like
I don't take everyone's like notion on what they define the word as. I know what I define it as and how you see it. Like I take it back to what you were saying, Danielle, like back days, Nefertiti, just wearing my purple, knowing I am of royalty, especially in a world who tries to minimize who you are and the standards and certain things and who we are as individuals. So I love that reminder because when I go into these meetings, it's always, she's very stern, she's quiet, she's standoffish. So when I can get words of people using Nubian and queen to describe me, I love it.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Same. Thank you very much. I will take that before I take that.
I like it as a respect thing, but like, I am a queen, you know what I'm saying? But I still feel at times I'm not.
You don't want the pressure that
the pressure, and I don't feel like I'm at that level at certain times. At certain times, I just feel like, okay, maybe I'm a princess today. You know what I'm saying? but
it's how you internalize. It's honestly how you internalize it and how you feel about yourself, and you're allowed to feel like that. There are certain days where I may not necessarily feel like a queen, but at the end of the day, I still am. Even if I'm not on my Deem and it's not where I want it to be, I know I'm about to be fully loaded and like how the girls say we in our bag and everything else. I'm in my queendom. So let me get my Nikki playing. I'm the best. Started from the top and just get into purpose.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you're like a therapist, so I feel like you're passing your therapy on to us. Thank you, free therapy. Love it. I love this.
Yes, queen.
Thank you, queen. Shout out to all my queens. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our very first Queen Business podcast. We are so excited to have you along for this journey. Make sure you are following Queen Business so you never miss out on new episodes. Meeting adjourned.
Hey.
I'm sorry, there was like a Celine Dion song in my brain.